Good evening, my friends. I'm starting this new live stream, and I'm looking forward to seeing many of our friends tuning in for this discussion. This is going to be an important one. There are some very crucial matters that I'm going to be talking about, and I would love to see you participate in the live chat window and share your thoughts. My friends, wonderful to see Frank, wonderful to see Evelyn. Frank from Florida, Evelyn from Las Vegas, Nevada, tuning in. Thank you so much. Good evening to you both. And as more friends tune in, we're going to have a great discussion here. So, my friends, before I get to President Trump's visit to Asia, that's what I'm going to talk about, but in just a little bit. But before that, I want to share with you some news that some of you may have seen. Maybe you've seen the headlines, maybe you've read the details. I don't know, but I'm going to talk about that. Something that happened in the South China Sea. I see Salerno is here, Michael Brown, our friend from Australia. Heidi is here. Heidi, good to see you. Heidi from Idaho. And others are joining. Kay Cooper is here too. Kay Cooper from Texas. Excellent. Hey, this is great. More and more friends are coming. All right, let's continue with the conversation. So this is actually a very serious matter, which I'm going to talk about right now. A U.S. Navy Seahawk helicopter and a Super Hornet fighter jet went down in the South China Sea. Now, if you have not seen this news yet, if you are not aware of this information, I know it's going to come as a big shock. And yes, this is going to cause worry. This is going to cause anxiety because we want our military to be safe. We want our military, personnel, our military equipment, our military vehicles and jets and aircrafts. We want everything to be safe, everything and everyone. And I saw this news and I was very shocked. And then upon reading the details, because I saw the headlines and I immediately okay, I'm not doing anything else. I'm going to read the details. I want to know what happened exactly. And I found out that these are two separate incidents, okay, which raises more questions. Not the same incident. It's not like something happened and it affected two aircrafts. No, these were separate incidents. But there was a common element, and the common element was that both of these aircrafts are from the USS Nimitz, okay? I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, USS Nimitz. So two separate crashes. Reportedly, the crashes occurred during routine operations, but different incidents, two separate incidents, not the same. Not the same. Now, there are many questions about how these incidents occurred. Two major incidents, separate, but happened. I mean, the news, I got the breaking news update together. It wasn't separate news, okay? It wasn't like, okay, there was a breaking news update about a helicopter and then a breaking news update about a fighter jet. It all came together. So, it all happened within a relatively small, time frame, window of time. And so, a lot of questions. Americans are going to have a lot of questions about how these occurred, okay? And obviously, we want to know, okay, was it preventable? were these incidents preventable? Because obviously we want to know, okay, if there were these two major incidents, one surrounding one involving a US Navy Seahawk helicopter and another one a Super Hornet fighter jet going down in the South China Sea, we want to know, okay, what needs to be done to make sure it doesn't happen again? So were these preventable? How can such incidents be prevented in the future? What needs to be done? The American people have a lot of questions. I know, you know, um, if somebody here, if you served in the military or if you currently serve in the military, you probably have a lot more information and knowledge about these things, okay, than I do. So if you want to share some of your thoughts, you can do that. But, whenever we hear about a crash involving, a helicopter, a military helicopter or a fighter jet, we think of the very first reaction is, okay, are the crew members all right? Obviously, that's what we think of. The very first thing, are they okay? Are there injuries that have been reported? And my friends, I got to tell you, thankfully, thanks to the great Almighty God, that in these incidents, the crew members are safe. Okay? The military service members, the crew members, they are safe. So that's a good thing. Reportedly, they are in stable condition. They're safe, they're in stable condition, and we got to thank our great Almighty God, okay, for keeping the crew members safe. We want our military service members to be safe, and thank God they're safe. Now, the United States Pacific Fleet stated that all personnel involved are safe and in stable condition. And the U.S. Pacific Fleet further stated that the cause of both incidents is currently under investigation. And whenever we hear the word investigation, what do we think of? We think of reports, okay? Because if there's an investigation, there's going to be a report. And the American people would like to know what the findings are, what caused these incidents, and what needs to happen going forward to ensure that such incidents don't happen again, okay? My friends, I think the American people want to know, after the investigation is done, what caused these incidents. So, I mean, these are very serious issues. It's a serious matter. And as I said, I know we have military service members who tune in for these live streams. And I just want to let you all know, okay, if you're a military service member, you served or you currently serve, I just want to let you know that we thank our military service members. We thank our troops. We appreciate them. And we are grateful for what the U.S. military service members do. Okay, can we just say thank you to the U.S. military? I think they deserve it. They deserve our thanks. They deserve our gratitude, really, every day, every moment. So if you would like to say thanks to our U.S. military, please do that. AC Cruz is here. Good to see you, AC. Marjorie Bedford is here. Marjorie, thanks for being here. And there are others. Did I miss anyone? More of our friends coming in. Excellent. Just make sure, like Evelyn already wrote, thank the U.S. military. Please say thank you to the military service members. We appreciate them. We appreciate them. Okay, Thomas is saying active army here. Oh, okay, Thomas, thank you so much. To all the veterans, to all our friends who are currently serving, thank you so very much. Okay, we appreciate you, absolutely. Whatever branch of the military you served in or you currently serve in, if you want to mention that, you can do that. But please know that we are grateful for your service. So my friends, Always, all the time, every day, we have to pray. If you are a person of faith, okay, whatever religion you follow, whatever, your religious background may be, if you believe in a God, if you have faith, please pray for the safety of our military service members. Please pray for those who are deployed. Please pray for those who are putting their lives at risk every day to protect our country, okay? And we will wait for the investigation report. We want to see the investigation report. We want to know what caused these aircrafts to go down in the South China Sea, okay, in the waters of the South China Sea. So that's all I have to say about that. Now I have a lot of other things to discuss that I'm going to get to here. I want to talk about, my friends, I want to talk about our president's peace efforts. My friends, how many times am I going to repeat this? This is something I feel like saying all the time, every day. President Trump is the peacemaker, and you know it's true. And those who deny this reality, okay, even though they know deep in their hearts, even the far left, even the radical far left, okay, they know, if they are honest with themselves, they know that President Trump is the peacemaker. They don't want to admit, they're not going to admit, they're not going to acknowledge this reality, but they know that President Donald J. Trump is the peacemaker. And I'm going to give you another example of President Trump's peace efforts, all right? My friends, but before I get to that, I do have to say once again something that I mentioned yesterday about President Trump's dance moves. Oh my God, our president. He's got so many talents. He's a great speaker. He's a great leader. He's a very, very successful businessman, an amazing real estate developer, okay? And listen, if you live in Chicago and you've seen the Trump Hotel there, you know what I'm talking about. If you live in New York, you've seen you've seen Donald Trump's property there, you know what I'm talking about. If you are like our friend Evelyn, who's in Las Vegas, and there's a wonderful hotel, a Trump hotel in Las Vegas, you know what I'm talking about. Great developer, great businessman, a truly amazing leader, fearless, bold, brave, and he is the peacemaker, okay? And he's one of the greatest presidents, in the history of the United States. You know, when I think of the greatest presidents, obviously I think of George Washington, I think of Abraham Lincoln, I think of Donald J. Trump. One other person I think of, President Eisenhower. He was great too. Now, your personal favorite list may differ from what I just mentioned, but I think of George Washington, I think of Eisenhower, I think of Abraham Lincoln, and of course, Donald J. Trump. Okay, the kind of challenges that President Trump has dealt with, the kind of challenges that he is dealing with every single day, and he still, in spite of all the barriers that the Democrats are trying to, create to try to slow Donald Trump down, they can do it. President Trump moving forward at full speed. He's not just making America great, he's also spreading peace across the world. And so President Trump's dance moves, that's another talent of his. If you have seen, and I mentioned this yesterday, if you have seen President Trump's dance moves as he arrived in Malaysia for his Asia trip, he got down from the plane. There was the beautiful red carpet. President Trump, he was walking, there was music, there was dancing, there was a grand welcome, and President Trump at one point, he danced. He looked at the Malaysian dancers, and with all the music going on, he danced, and you got to look at it. It's a viral video clip. And I knew it right then and there that this is going to be viral. And President Trump was there, and the Malaysian Prime Minister was just next to President Trump, and he's a wonderful man. We have to talk about some of the other leaders around the world who are just wonderful people. Okay, and you know some of the names. We've talked about them. I mean, the Emir of Qatar, a truly wonderful man, a great leader, played such a key role. Okay, in ensuring that there's a peace deal, and President Trump acknowledges the Emir of Qatar's contributions. And so, as I've said before, not going to go into that discussion again. I've talked about it, but Qatar has become such a great ally, such a wonderful ally of the United States. And another leader, okay, is the Malaysian Prime Minister, a wonderful man named Anwar Ibrahim. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim gave tremendous respect, showed tremendous respect for our president and the Prime Minister of Malaysia. He organized a truly grand and wonderful welcome, okay, for Donald Trump. And when President Trump was dancing, I knew right then and there, as I saw the live images, the live video. I was watching it live, actually, okay? Because I had my computer on, I was watching it live, and I knew right then and there that it's going to be viral. And the trip began. I mean, this is a good sign. The trip began with music and dancing, starting at the airport. And then we got some great news about peace efforts, and that is what I want to focus on. So, my friends, if you're watching this, please make sure that you are subscribing. If you want to be a part of this community, please subscribe. Okay, we got viewers who are saying it's amazing when our president does his dance. I love it. And someone is saying Trump is great. Absolutely. Okay, wonderful. Excellent. Thank you for all your support, my friends. Okay, so let's continue. My friends, talking about peace efforts. In President Donald Trump's presence, the Cambodian Prime Minister and the Thai Prime Minister signed the expanded ceasefire at the ASEAN Summit. And this has been made possible because of President Donald J. Trump. And of course, the Malaysian Prime Minister played a major role, and President Trump has acknowledged that. And so the two countries signed a joint declaration. There's a joint declaration by the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Cambodia and the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Thailand on the outcomes of their meeting in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Okay, and I'm going to read to you a little bit from the joint declaration. And if you want to read the entire document, it's on the White House website. Everything you're going to find, the details, because it's President Trump made all of this possible. So on the White House website, you're going to find all that information. And the two countries, the Prime Minister of Cambodia and the Prime Minister of Thailand, when they signed this joint declaration, they said, "We reaffirm the unwavering commitment to peace and security between our two countries, as declared in Putrajaya, Malaysia on July 28, 2025. So these countries, we know that President Trump made a ceasefire possible. And then what these two countries, what the leaders of these two countries did this time, when President Trump was in Malaysia, they reaffirmed the commitment that they made back in July. They reaffirmed the unwavering commitment to peace and security between the two countries. And these countries, they are now going to focus on promotion of peace, security, stability, and prosperity in the region on the basis of mutual respect for the independence, sovereignty, equality, territorial integrity, and national identity of the respective nations, meaning Thailand and Cambodia. This is This is a major deal. This is a major deal, and the prime ministers of these two countries, of Cambodia and Thailand, they signed this expanded ceasefire in the presence of the greatest leader, US President Donald J. Trump. You have to understand the significance of these peace efforts made possible by Donald J. Trump. And the liberals, they know this too. The liberals who are watching, and the liberals who are probably going to watch the replay, they know this. They don't want to admit it. And all the Democrats, they know exactly how much President Trump is working, how hard he is working to make peace possible. The liberals, the Democrats, they all know it, but you know what? They don't want to admit. They don't want to acknowledge. They don't want to go in front of a microphone and say, yes, President Trump is the peacemaker. They don't want to go on a TV set, on a show, and in front of the cameras. They don't want to say, yes, President Trump is a peacemaker. But they know it. They know it. They know it. Deep in their heart, they know it. If they are honest with their own selves, they know it. The liberals know this. But they don't want to admit. But doesn't matter. Even if they don't admit, doesn't matter. The truth is the truth. If people do not acknowledge the truth does not change. The truth is the truth, whether somebody acknowledges that or not. So the truth is that President Trump is the peacemaker. And you know what? No one's waiting for the liberals. We, the American people, we, the freedom-loving people, we know exactly what the president is doing to promote peace. And not just us. People all over the world, they know. The people of Thailand know. The people of Cambodia know this. The people of Malaysia, they know this. The people of Qatar, the people of Turkey, the people of Egypt, the people of Jordan, the people of Saudi Arabia, they all know what President Trump has done for the Middle East. And all these people I mentioned, the Asian countries, Cambodia, Thailand, Malaysia, the people there, they know what President Trump is doing for that region, for Asia, to promote peace. And that's the truth, whether the liberals acknowledge that or not. My friends, the two countries, when they signed this expanded ceasefire, they also said in that agreement that they are going to, these two countries, they are going to refrain from disseminating or promoting false information, accusations, allegations, and harmful rhetoric, whether through official government channels or unofficial platforms, in order to de-escalate tensions, mitigate negative public sentiment, and foster an environment conducive to peaceful dialogue. So what does that mean? Cambodia and Thailand, they're making a commitment, they're promising that they are going to foster an environment conducive to peaceful dialogue. Now, I always say that on this channel, and you know this, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know this. I always say dialogue. Let's have a dialogue. Let's have a peaceful dialogue. Let's not engage in name calling. Let's not insult each other. Don't do that. I always encourage people in the live chat. I say, we have to ensure that there's productive conversation, constructive conversation. We have to have dialogue in a peaceful manner. That is what I have always said. And I was so happy to see that this joint declaration that the two countries signed, Thailand and Cambodia, over there too, they said they are going to foster an environment conducive to peaceful Dialogue. And so, my friends, I just want to highlight this, that in life, whether in international politics, whether in domestic politics, whether in local politics, whether in your personal relationships, you always have to make sure that you have dialogue. If there are disagreements, if there are, debates, arguments, sort things out through dialogue. Dialogue can help solve problems. Have a conversation, sit down, have a chat. Explain your position, understand the other party's position, understand what the other person is saying. Have an honest conversation, and I'm so glad. See, dialogue can solve problems between two individuals. Dialogues can solve problems between two groups. Dialogue can also solve problems between two major countries in Asia. Okay? And so, in that joint declaration, the Prime Minister of Cambodia and the Prime Minister of Thailand also said, and this I want you to pay attention to this part because this is extremely important. And I'm going to give you a quote. It's in the joint declaration. It says, and I quote, "We express our confidence that this meeting, in the presence of and supported by President Donald J. Trump of the United States of America and Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim of Malaysia, is a strong foundation for mutual respect and the advancement of peace in the region. We note with deep appreciation President Donald J. Trump's significant contributions to advancing the restoration of productive bilateral relations between the Kingdom of Cambodia and the Kingdom of Thailand," end quote. These are not my words. These are not my words. These are words from the joint declaration, from the expanded ceasefire agreement. These are the representatives of Thailand and Cambodia. They are expressing their confidence that this meeting, in the presence of and supported by President Donald J. Trump of the United States of America and Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim of Malaysia, is a strong foundation for mutual respect and the advancement of peace in the region. You cannot deny this. If you want to close your eyes and say, "Oh, I didn't read the document," well, you can do that. It doesn't change the truth. If you say, "Oh, I didn't hear anything," if you just close your eyes, close your ears. If you close your ears and you say, "Oh, I didn't hear it. I didn't hear what you said. I didn't hear the words." Well, that's your choice. But the truth is the truth, and the entire world knows the truth. The leaders of Cambodia and Thailand, they're saying, and I'm going to read this again, they're saying, "We note with deep appreciation President Donald J. Trump's significant contributions to advancing the restoration of productive bilateral relations between the Kingdom of Cambodia and the Kingdom of Thailand." Who are they thanking? They are thanking, first and foremost, President Donald J. Trump. And yes, they are thanking the great leader of Malaysia, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim. It is because of U.S. leadership. It is because of the leadership of our president that this has been made possible. My friends, this is historic. This is peace being achieved, and this is lasting peace. It's going to be lasting peace. And President Trump likes to say everlasting peace, because that's the goal. We want peace to continue forever. Everlasting peace. My friends, this is just the beginning. I'm going to talk about some other great things, and you want to wait here. You want to wait here because you're going to be very happy. I don't know how your day went, if you had a good day or a bad day, but your day is going to be really good when you find out what I'm about to tell you, because I'm going to share with you some key achievements, some key accomplishments with regard to trade. Heidi is saying MAGA. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Heidi. Heidi says MAGA. Anyone else wants to say MAGA? You want to say MAGA? Please go ahead. Make America great again. I always have MAGA on my hat. I see a viewer saying MAGA. Heidi is saying TTTT, which means Tossif tells the truth. Thank you. Salerno is saying MAGA. Jose is saying MAGA. Lord is saying MAGA. Falcone saying MAGA. Others are saying MAGA. This is wonderful. This is great. Illuminator says MAGA USA. Wonderful. Thank you, my friends. So let's continue. I got a lot more to talk about. So many things were accomplished when President Trump was in Malaysia. Now, this trip to Asia, it's going to go on because President Trump also has to visit Japan. He also has to visit South Korea. And as I talked about yesterday, we don't know if President Trump is going to meet with Kim Jong-un. Is it going to happen during this trip or not? I don't know. I hope it does. Maybe it's a possibility. We'll see, okay? We'll talk about it when we get there, if that happens. But something else that was accomplished was the United States and Thailand also agreed to a framework for an agreement on reciprocal trade to strengthen the bilateral economic relationship between the two countries, which will provide both countries' exporters unprecedented access to each other's markets. And it says, and all the information you're going to find in the actual documents on the White House website. It says the agreement on reciprocal trade will build upon our long-standing economic relationship, including the U.S.-Thailand Treaty of Amity and Economic Relations signed in 1966 and the U.S.-Thailand Trade and Investment Framework Agreement signed in 2002. So this agreement will build upon the long-standing economic relationship between the two countries. And some of the key highlights that I want to share with you, according to this framework for an agreement, it says Thailand will eliminate tariff barriers on approximately 99% of goods, covering a full range of U.S. industrial and food and agricultural products. And the United States will maintain at 19% the reciprocal tariffs as set forth in the Executive Order 14257 of April 2nd, 2025, as amended on originating goods of Thailand, and will identify products from the list set out in the Annex 3 to Executive Order 14346 of September 5th, 2025, potential tariff adjustments for aligned partners to receive a 0% reciprocal tariff rate. And the United States and Thailand will work together to address Thailand's non-tariff barriers that affect bilateral trade. That's just some of the information that's in the document, and there's a lot more. If you like to read, like I like to read, then you're going to find those documents on the White House website, and you're going to read those, because this is crucial. This is important. This talks about the US-Thailand bilateral relationship and what we can expect going forward. My friends, if you thought that this framework for an agreement on reciprocal trade between US and Thailand, that's the highlight, well, there's more. We're now going to talk about Cambodia. The United States of America and the Kingdom of Cambodia also reached an agreement on reciprocal trade to strengthen the bilateral economic relationship between the two countries, which will provide both countries' exporters unprecedented access to each other's markets. Okay, so not going to read the whole agreement, but you can find it, and it says, Cambodia commits to eliminate tariffs on 100% of U.S. industrial goods and U.S. food and agricultural products exported to Cambodia and has already implemented this commitment. Okay? And it also says the United States and Cambodia commit to address Cambodia's non-tariff barriers that affect bilateral trade in the priority areas, including addressing import licensing, streamlining regulatory requirements and approvals, recognizing U.S. sanitary and phytosanitary measures, I don't know how to pronounce that, phytosanitary measures and other measures for food and agricultural products, and increasing enforcement against notorious markets for counterfeiting and piracy. Okay? I mean, there's a lot that's happening. It says the United States and Cambodia commit to address and prevent barriers to U.S. agricultural products in the Cambodian market, including with regard to U.S. regulatory oversight and acceptance of currently agreed certificates issued by U.S. regulatory authorities. Things just keep getting better. Things just keep getting better. We are winning, winning, winning. President Trump said, we're going to win, and you're going to be tired of winning. So let me ask you now, my friends. We are winning a lot. Are you tired? Are you going to say, Mr. Trump, President Trump, you know what? We don't want to win anymore. We've had so many victories. We don't want to win. We're tired of winning. Are you going to say that? Let me ask you. Are you going to say that? Are you going to say, like, Evelyn is saying too much winning? Evelyn, let me ask you, Evelyn, are you tired of winning? Anyone? Or do you want to win more? Do you want to win more? Friends, let me know. Evelyn says, absolutely not. I voted for it. Exactly, Evelyn. That is what we voted for. We want to keep winning, winning, and winning. We want to win domestically. We want to win internationally. We want to win when you look at the economy. We want to win when you look at the military. We want to win in international relations. We want to win in promoting peace around the world. My friends, Salerno is saying keep winning. That's what we hope for, Salerno. We want to keep winning. But you know what? It is really sad that the Democrats don't acknowledge this. The Democrats don't. If you ask Gavin Newsom, hey, Gavin, we are winning. What do you have to say? He's not going to acknowledge our victories. If you ask, pick a name, Kamala Harris. If you ask Kamala Harris, hey, Kamala Harris, what do you think about all the victories, all the win-win-win that we're experiencing. What do you have to say? I don't know what she's going to say. I don't know what she's going to say in response. She's not going to acknowledge the victories. I don't think she will. I'm going to be talking about the Chicago mayor very soon, okay? I mean, that guy. I mean, randomly mentioned his name today. I'm not talking about Chicago today, but that guy, Chicago mayor, Brandon Johnson. I mean, unbelievable. I saw a video clip of his earlier this evening, and unbelievable stuff. He doesn't want to use the term illegal alien. He does not want to use the term illegal alien. Can you believe that? I mean, it's a real term. People who violate our nation's immigration laws, they come into the country illegally, they're illegal aliens. And Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, he doesn't want to mention that term. What's wrong with the guy? What is wrong with Brandon Johnson? Anyway, we're gonna talk about that in the near future, because I have a lot to say about the Chicago mayor, Brandon Johnson, okay? But not today. Today we're focusing on the great things that are happening in terms of trade, in terms of bilateral relationship with different countries. Okay. Malaysia. Let's talk about Malaysia. The government of the United States of America, so the USA, and the government of Malaysia also reached an agreement on reciprocal trade to strengthen the bilateral economic relationship between the two countries, which will provide both countries' exporters unprecedented access to each other's markets, okay? It's about trade. It's about enhancing trade. It's about ensuring fair trade. And some of the terms of the agreement, I'm going to read a few things, not the whole document, obviously. I'm just highlighting a few items. It says Malaysia has committed to provide significant preferential market access for U.S. industrial goods exports, including chemicals, machinery, and electrical equipment, metals, and passenger vehicles, and for U.S. agricultural exports, including dairy, horticultural products, poultry, beverages, it goes on, fuel, ethanol. I mean, you can find the whole list, okay? And it says, Malaysia has committed to address non-tariff barriers that affect bilateral trade in priority industrial areas. And it also says, I'm going to read another highlight here. Malaysia has committed to address and prevent non-tariff barriers to U.S. food and agricultural products in the Malaysian market, including by accepting currently agreed certificates issued by U.S. regulatory authorities, streamlining halal and facility registration requirements to facilitate imports of U.S. food and agricultural products, and implementation of regionalization of the United States for animal diseases. Winning, winning, winning. I don't know what else to say. Really, if you like to read, okay, maybe you like to read novels, maybe you like to read poetry, maybe you like to read short stories. But you know what? I would recommend that you read these agreements. These articles are available on the White House website. You look up the, where can you find it? You go to the White House website and you click on briefings and statements. You're going to see a list. It is important. Maybe you don't like to read this kind of document. Maybe you don't like to read legal documents or policy papers or contracts or whatever. Maybe you just like to read fiction, you know? Maybe you like to read novels, classical novels. I mean, trust me, I love to read the work of Hemingway. I love to read the work of Charles Dickens. I love to read many other things. I got a whole set of, I love to read, Plato and Aristotle. I love to read, philosophy, as I mentioned. I love to read all these literature books like Jane Eyre that I've got right here. What else do I have? Vanity Fair, Oliver Twist. But you know what? You gotta read the documents that pertain to the future of our country and our relationship with other countries. If you are a concerned citizen, no matter what else you like to read, great, keep reading that, but find some time in your daily schedule to go through some of these documents, through some of these joint statements, and there's a whole bunch. Let me look here. It says Joint Statement on United States-Cambodia Agreement on Reciprocal Trade. Joint Statement on United States-Malaysia Agreement on Reciprocal Trade. Joint Agreement between the United States of America and Malaysia on Reciprocal Trade. Joint Statement on United States-Vietnam Framework for an Agreement on Reciprocal, Fair, and Balanced Trade. These are things you got to read. And after you've read these, you can go back to reading, poetry, novels, whatever, okay? But if you are an American, you care about our relationship with other countries, you care about international trade, you want to see a strong economy, read these agreements because it gives you a very clear understanding of the great work that the Trump administration is doing in negotiating and in finalizing these deals. My friends, let's talk about Vietnam. Let's talk about Vietnam. The United States of America and Vietnam have agreed to a framework for an agreement on reciprocal, fair, and balanced trade to strengthen the bilateral relationship, the bilateral economic relationship between the two countries. Once again, as the language we've seen in the other agreements, which will provide both countries' exporters unprecedented access to each other's markets. So this has been the common theme. It's about improving access to each other's markets. It just improves the trade relationship. And some of the key terms of the agreement, let me read. Vietnam will provide preferential market access for substantially all U.S. industrial and agricultural exports to Vietnam. The United States and Vietnam will work constructively in an effort to address both countries' interests in non-tariff barriers that affect bilateral trade in priority areas, and the list goes on. Once again, the question, are you tired of winning? Because I think it's just started. We're going to win, 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 even more going forward. Hold on a second, my friends. Anyone who has not subscribed, please do that. I would appreciate it very much. And I see some folks spamming the live chat. So I'm going to do something that I usually don't like to do. I'm going to put this in subscriber only mode. Okay. All right. Because I see some folks, they spam. They're like spamming, like same comment, copying, pasting over and over again. So I put it in subscriber only mode. I don't usually like to do that, but they kind of force me. Okay. They kind of force me, Behave is here. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see Marjorie. Let's see who else is here. Okay. So Behave, good to see you. Now let me try to remember where Behave is from. Behave is Elaine from California. Tell me if I'm wrong. All right. Elaine from California. Do I remember that correctly? Behave says yes. Elaine, thanks for being here. Elaine's been tuning in for the live streams for a long time. Appreciate your support. Marjorie, our friend from Canada, always good to see you. Frank from Florida. And of course, Evelyn. We have our friend Evelyn from Nevada. We've got Kay Cooper from Texas. Okay, so I don't see the trolls. Where are the trolls? The trolls are gone. The trolls didn't want to. The trolls did not want to subscribe, I guess. Michael Brown. Michael Brown, always great to see you. That's our friend Michael Brown from Australia. By the way, the Australian leader, the Australian Prime Minister, visited the White House just a short while ago, and it was a great visit. Michael Brown, did you keep track of that? I talked about it on this channel. I did. When did I talk about that? Let's see. Just in the last few days. Yeah, Albanese was here, right? When was it? Let's see. I'm trying to. Oh, it was on the 21st, I think, that I did a live stream. Talked about the Australian Prime Minister visit. It was a good visit. Yeah. Florian says that Florian subscribed for the hat and the accent. Okay, you like my accent? Thank you. I appreciate that. It's probably a very unique one, huh? Anyway, thank you for subscribing for, whatever it is that made you subscribe. My accent, my hat. Yeah. Yeah, Florian's probably not a fan, huh? I've seen some of your comments. You probably don't like what I have to say, right? But that's all right. You've subscribed. Lucky is saying, looks like you came into my feed. What do we got here? Well, this is a channel where we discuss social and political issues, both domestic and international. And if you are wondering who I voted for, I think the answer is right there. I voted for Donald J. Trump. I'm a Republican Trump supporter. I'm a conservative. I'm a freedom-loving American. I'm a United States citizen. I'm a proud American. So, our friend AC, always great to see AC. AC is here. So yeah, that's what we have here. Lucky, thanks for being here. Make sure you subscribe. All right. All right. I sometimes have to take certain actions to manage what's happening in the live chat when things go out of hand. So that individual who is spamming the live chat window has been banned from this channel for eternity. Okay. Heidi, thanks for your wonderful comments, Heidi. Heidi is saying, I've been subscribed to this channel since before the election. Tossif's reporting is impeccable, just a fact. Thank you. That's always my goal. I can make mistakes. I'm a human being. If I ever make a mistake, maybe, I don't think I've made mistakes. Maybe once, I don't know. But I try to be as accurate as I can. Lucky's asking, do you have any collaborations with other influencers? No, it's really a one-person operation. Listen, it's not a fancy channel. It is not a fancy channel. I mean, you see some of the other channels, they have, cool lighting. They have, cool microphone setup. They have, professional cameras that cost, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 with all the fancy lenses. They have the lavalier mics and all that. This is just very simple. All right, this is very simple. I've got my phone, and I've got my laptop right here, which gives me a slightly bigger screen, obviously, so I can read the comments more clearly. And it's just me. That's it. Okay. I do have a professional microphone for my podcast, but I'm not using that for my live stream. Okay, because it requires a lot of power, and so the phone battery is not going to be able to power the microphone because it requires a preamp and what's that called? A Focusrite I got right there. So yeah, this is a simple channel because it's not about the cool lighting. It's not about the fancy microphone. It's not about the look, the show. It's about the content. All right. And I have done live streams that are less than an hour. I've done live streams that are more than 3 hours and 30 minutes long. Okay. I mean, you go and look at some of the things I've done in the past, you'll find live streams that are more than 3 hours long. Okay. So, and, we focus on the human connection. That's what I do. We focus on the human connection. You'll find a lot of other great channels. I mean, there are some great commentators out there who do political commentary. They have different viewpoints, and they have cool studio setup. Cool studio. They sit behind a desk. They got the really crisp, clear video, the crisp audio, because they use, professional studio grade equipment and stuff. They got all the lighting. You can see the different whatever background. Mine's very simple. Okay. So, okay, someone's asking me, can you give me an idea of, why I started creating? No, this is, I don't call myself a content creator. No, I'm not creating content. I mean, it's political commentary, it's political analysis, it's public policy analysis that I do here. I share my thoughts. I've been in politics for many years. In fact, since you're asking the question, let me give you my website. And to anyone who's here for the first time and you don't know much about me, you can go to my website. I actually pinned the website address to the top of the chat screen. I'm a public policy analyst. That's my education. That's my training. And I have been in politics for many years. I've seen different election cycles. I've seen different things. I'm heavily involved in politics in my home state of Wisconsin. Okay. If you want to know more about me, you can go check out my website where you'll find a whole lot of information. Um, and I also write a lot. It's not that I speak only, I write a lot. I've written many letters to editors and op-eds. I've got a whole list on my website. I think I've written so far 117, maybe 118 mix of letters and op-eds on a whole range of issues. And my writings have appeared in USA Today, the Washington Examiner, the Washington Post, New York Post, New York Daily News, Wisconsin State Journal, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, the Philadelphia Inquirer, Pittsburgh Post Gazette, the Western Journal, Capital Times, and more. I can't remember all the names. Anyway, you can find the whole list. So yeah, I'm originally basically I'm a writer, and then I also obviously speak, and I like to keep it very simple, nothing fancy, very simple, and then I focus on the human connection. So anyway, Lucky, where are you from? What state? Since you're engaged, let me know where you are from. What state? What city? Virginia. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Virginia has an important election coming up. I hope the Republicans win. Really, really hoping it's gonna be it's we're all gonna be watching and waiting for the results. Virginia race, right? Okay. All right. So, oh, we just hit the 1 hour mark. 1 hour, 2 minutes. We got 100 likes today. Isn't that awesome? 100 likes. That is wonderful. So great, my friends. Thank you for your support. Thank you all so very much for your wonderful support. Let me just see a few things in the live chat here. Okay. All right. All right, my friends, 102 likes. All right. So overall, I just wanted to say, to kind of wrap up my comments, this trip to Asia, President Trump's trip to Asia, this is a significant trip. And just in Malaysia, just in one country, he's going to be visiting. He visited Malaysia. He's going to be going to Japan and South Korea. But just in Malaysia, we've seen the kind of success that, that we have. Well, the President Trump's accomplishment, international trade and negotiation. We've seen some great success, some great agreements, great deals signed with Vietnam, Malaysia, Cambodia, and Thailand, and the peace agreement signed between Cambodia and Thailand because of U.S. leadership and President Trump's bold action. And then the Asia trip will continue. The next big thing I think people are waiting for is the meeting between President Trump and China's Xi Jinping. That's coming up. So we're going to wait and see what happens. I'll try to bring to you the latest and share with you my thoughts and my analysis. And I appreciate you all continuing to support my channel. If you have not subscribed yet, I would just say, please subscribe. Please subscribe. And tell your friends, tell your family members, tell your neighbors about this channel, and ask them to check it out, and to maybe tune in for a live stream and to participate in the live chat. So with that, my friends, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so very much. It's always wonderful to see you all. May God bless you all. May God bless President Donald J. Trump. May God bless the Trump administration. May God bless the Republicans in Washington. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless our U.S. allies. And may God bless freedom-loving people all over the world. With that, my friends, I'm going to end this live stream, but I'll be back with more videos, more live streams. So please stay connected. And remember this. Together, we will make America great again. Have a wonderful night, my friends. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you.